Hello everyone, welcome to RLR Raw League Racing. First time out for the Elite tier. I can already see we have Hainsey has dropped into the chat. We've got a few people dropping in to have a watch. As we might expect, this should be a good one. We've got some really fast people in here. I hope to share it with all of you. Obviously, we're waiting for a few more people to drop in. We've got a few reserves mixed in with some of the elite drivers. The key thing is here to work out where people sit going into the new season, work out if everyone's still in the right place. Obviously, all we've got to judge on so far is a few trials and some time trials. So let's see where everybody sits after a short qualifying and a 50% race. I don't speak French, Lewis Debica. But yeah, good to see you've got... you do fine, Hainsey. You do absolutely fine. We don't like it when drivers put themselves down now, do we, Hainsey? Now, Lewis Debica and Appledorn, the teammates, have been mentioning that they're trying to keep their cards relatively close to their chest going into this. Let's see how that plays out, or if their racing instinct will get the better of them. Now, the key to that, Hainsey's watching out for those sausage curbs. The sausage curbs have been quite controversial so far this season. Controversial not just in Formula One, but in all formulas. They've been throwing a lot of drivers up into the air, begging the question, are they more dangerous than what they're worth? Obviously, we saw a significantly bad incident in the F2, I believe it was, in Silverstone. Yeah, we also obviously the Grand Tour's Abby Eaton, our W Series driver, as Ethan just pointed out, had a pretty bad accident. I believe she's back up and running now, though. So she has been competing in the more recent W Series races, which is good to see. Good to see the Grand Tour team being represented, albeit that Abby Eaton being the only viable candidate to take part in the W Series from the Grand Tour team. In my opinion, I think it'd be great to see Jamie Chadwick eventually get that F1 test that I think we've all been anticipating, or at least an F2 test. Captain Slowly, Mr. Slow. Now, the question is, who am I going to get to assign the James May tag to in all of this? I mean, you're meant to be elite drivers, but it's all relative. 18 of you in this lobby. Who's going to get the James May tag? Who isn't an Appledorn fan? This is the first time I'm going to be in a lobby with him, and I'm not going to hear his birds chirping in his ear. It is. So just beg the question, when we're going to get any more Grand Tour? I think we're missing it. However, I think most people would probably quite like it to go back to the original format. Happy. Who is Dimitri? I don't think I've seen that name coming before. You knew? You're just a fan of Appledorn? Do you know him from inside the league, outside the league? He does inspire a lot of support. Dimster. Look forward to racing with you afterwards. All the champion division drivers like myself and Dimster, looking to get some inspiration from the Elite League to take into the practice that we've got organised for straight after this. I agree with you, Lewis. I agree with you. I'm not. It's not up for debate. Yeah, I was Matthias. I was speaking to Reese Boy just before. He's feeling quietly confident, which is great to hear. Who doesn't love like a moron like myself talking over their racing and making a ham-handed effort at it? Now you have to bear with me, guys. This is my first time commentating just by myself. I've had one previous outing with Appledorn, who very much held my hand in the process. Shout out to him for that. It was very much appreciated. But if I'm going to be constantly supporting the league, I need to make sure I can stand on my own 2 feet. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and trial it early on in the season, in the pre-season, to give it a whirl. On the benefits of being a chatterbox. Occasionally you get to use your gob for an hour or so, and it actually be worth something. But I'm interested to know in the chat, obviously, you elite drivers, concentrate on what you're doing in the game. Make sure you're recording, get your setups. I wouldn't be doing my job as the Woofafa without reminding you all to get your setups on and get your recordings in. So as a first time ever, your head steward, i.e. me, gets to watch everything go down firsthand. As I do encourage all of you to put your reports in, irrespective of whether or not the points mean anything. I've already said it, Dimpster. I've already told him. Not practiced and being slow is not sandbagging, Lewis. That's just being unprepared and slow. Excuse me. I need to make sure I actually keep the controller in my hand to get through everything. Otherwise, I'm just going to concentrate on one driver. I keep putting it down. But yeah, here we go. We are heading in. We'll try and keep as close an eye as we can to who comes out first. There's always one that darts out. Right. Right. Anybody jumping the gun? Also, we're just waiting for people to put their setups on, and hopefully we'll have someone. Who is that? Looks like Lewis the Beaker. Oh no, we've got someone else out. We'll follow the first one out, whoever that may be. One of the Alpha Towers. Yep, here we go. So first one out of the box is Jordan May heading around the first corner. Be very careful. These new profile of larger tyres do take a while to heat up. They don't just come straight out the blankets with all the temperature in them now. The core temperature of the tyre is very, very low. So we're expecting a lot of weaving, a lot of burnouts as they head around the track. Oh, nice to see you, Ryan. Nice to see you, Mr. Watkins, founder of the league. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 drivers heading out. But we are going to stick with the first driver, Jordan May, as he heads around his first lap. Now going into the first one of the new profiled sections, much wider around here now. This slow section really does test the ground effect of the cars. There's a new sausage curbs introduced, be very careful of them. This bit is key to set up the lap. Don't take too much curb, don't get bouncing. But he seems to have got good traction, he stayed away from the sausage curbs. He goes powering down the straight, and he's already invalidated to the side he goes. Who is next? So we need to get looking for a rebel. So we'll go to Lewis the Beaker, who hasn't invalidated. I hope Jordan May doesn't go too far over that pit exit, otherwise he's going to find himself obstructing someone. So around comes Lewis Tabika. The more speed he gets on, the more ground force effect he'll have. Tries to keep it inside the lines going into turn 4. Brake as little as you can, but stay as close as you can. Open it up on the exit. Head down the hill. Heavy braking into his turn 6. Stay off the soft curbs. Stay inside the white line. Now this section hasn't changed much in terms of profile except the sausage curbs, so just stay off them, keep it in within the white lines and follow it around. We do have an Alpha Tower in the way. Hopefully they can get out of the way on the straight, which they do. Thank you for that. It's good to see. So as Lewis Tabika drops down, brakes hard, takes a wide line, keeps the middle of the track, gets the switch. You need to make sure you get that right. The car can easily get unsettled. Only takes the curb towards the end of it. Heads down, carries quite a bit of speed, but keeps it nice and tidy. Swings it out towards that sausage curb and then flings it over the line. Nice and straight, powers to the line. And he goes fastest so far with a 1:18.4. We have a Mercedes about to come over the line. Of a Balladin, who has just topped that by 0.3 of a second. We're just about getting times in now. The next one coming round is Pjok, who absolutely smashes that by another 0.3. Let's go on board with some of the Aston Martin. Let's see what our friend Hainsey is up to. He's a lot of his ERS on that lap and goes second. The other Aston Martin. Oh, we have a spinner in the form of Reese Boy. That last corner can be tough if you're not paying much attention. Cook's Gamer comes to the line. I think he might have been carrying a bit of fuel because it did look good. And Robbo, the most talked about man so far in the time trial section of the league, has absolutely shown up here, going on pole by 0.7 of a second almost. Incredible pace. Let's try and catch up with some of the drivers outside. So I think we have a Alpha Tauri about coming round. Was it Jordan May again? So Jordan May is looking to finally start a lap, which won't be validated. Let's give him a second chance. And there he goes. He has put it P2, getting ever closer to Robbo's time. Let's find this Ferrari. Oh, there's Ash going in. Then we have a Mercedes. Just coming to the last few corners. This is out lap, so we'll take him round this lap. Oh, I personally would have held it a bit wider there. Trying to get on the power a bit earlier, but everyone has their own approach, and I'm probably not qualified to give speed advice from Champions tier to Elite tier. Keeping it nice and balanced going into here. Pulling it round turn 3. And the cars do stick a lot better on turn 3 now with this ground effect, because the faster you go, the more downforce you have. It's no longer about where it sits on the front or the rear. You get downforce for every bit of speed that you put into the car. So it stays very tight to the inside curb there. Does swing a bit wide on the exit. Coming up through the S. Goes in a bit deep but keeps it nice and tight. Throws it towards the curb on the outside. Keeps it in 7th, going with the almost flat out section there. Comes down the hill into the reprofiled section. Keeps it nice and wide, gets a nice sling back through here. Keeping it really tight then. Sacrificing a bit of speed to reduce the distance. Oh, hits the sausage curbs hard there. I hope that doesn't cost him too much time. Round he comes, nice and wide. Nearly invalidates, so close to the line. And moves up to P13. There was a few areas there where I thought we could have pushed a little bit harder, but there's still plenty of time left in the session. And we're on to the other Ferrari, Reese Boy, who's just about to finish his lap. Oh, goes very wide into the last few corners there. And decided to abandon that lap and go into the pits. Yeah, I think he went a bit too deep in some of the final corners there. Let's try the McLaren. He's also coming to the pits. Robert has just come out, so we will pick him up very shortly. So we've got Pchok. I'm going to try that one. I think there's a few ways I could potentially attempt to say that, but I'm going to go with Pchok. So round he comes, keeps it just off the sausage curb as he comes round. Right over the curb, keeping maximum speed, opens his steering up to come down the main straight. He's got a nice clear track ahead of him, just the Aston Martin a few corners away. Took a little while for the broadcast camera to catch up there. Oh, and he's spun, but thankfully he's kept it out of the barriers. So we will go on to Lewis the Beaker, who's just coming through the middle sector, but he looks like he might come across some traffic. The Haas has done the right thing and kept out of the way, but hopefully the Alpine and the McLaren can maybe park themselves up on the exit of turn 8, I think it is. But what they're doing right now is correct. They can't stop through there. They have been told to push through the final 2 corners. Keeps it nice and slow, but steady. Well planted around the last bit of the chicane. Using the last of his ERS up, powering towards the line. Lewis the Beaker does move him a substantial way, but is yet to break into the 117s, which really where it seems to be where the pace is there. Like we promised, though, we are going to go back to Robbo to see if there's... Oh, I was commentator's curse just as he takes a trip across the grass, doing the Valtteri Bottas, turning his Mercedes-powered machine into a lawnmower. So we will catch up with Sir Swindu, who is just starting a lap now. So I think we might actually go to Hainsey, who's actually just finishing his lap, and he is 2.5 tenths up. Oh, he could have ridden that curb a little bit more, but it still looks good. Oh, and he puts it P3, well into the 117s. Well done, Mr. Commentator. And there was a man that was putting himself down. We'll go back to Sir Swindu now, the other Aston Martin, who looks like he's abandoned this lap. If he has, though, he needs to get out of the way very quickly for the approaching Williams car. So he should power around here and then should lift off and go to the right here. Wonderfully done. So we've got Evil Chris just coming around the last corner now. We haven't really followed him, so I couldn't tell you if he's improving, but it is going to be close. And P2, he has shown a lot of very, very positive time trial times. Like he's finally jumped himself up the order. I think he's had a few unfortunate laps. He's going to want to get himself out of the way, and does. But it's great to see the standard of driving that's been put on show here. Obviously, it's one thing being fast, it's another thing knowing your race etiquette, and it's good to see that there is a correlation between the two so far. So we have Jordan May, who is coming through the middle sector, well, just starting the final sector, and is 2.5 tenths up on his time. So this could put him P2. I don't think it's quite enough for P1 at the moment, but P2 it is. Haynes is going into the pits. So Swindu, I think, is pushing this time. He is marginally up. He is coming around. Now, there's a lot of time to find in this middle sector. If you can stay committed, you've got a real confidence in the car, though. Throwing up this section is not easy. It takes a lot of curb. And Robbo has absolutely smashed even his own time. And amazing there, so Swindu has actually not invalidated that lap, despite having definitely all 4 wheels off the track. Seemingly the game is assuming that he hasn't gained any extra time there. Thank you, Dimpster. I'll try not to stop commentating to appreciate that comment, but instead stick with Sir Swindu. It's coming off well held through there. Keep it tight, fire out on the exit, take as much speed as you can. P10 to P6. Great shown by the Aston Martin so far. The only team, I believe, with... As you know, I tell a lie, we do have 2 McLarens in the top 10 as well. but I'd say it's a better performance overall by the Aston Martin team, which did seem like a promising outfit to begin with. So I think we'll move on to Varg, who we expect to be a bit further up potentially. I've raced with Varg before. He's a very, very fast driver. I hope the psychology of being in that Williams isn't slowing him down. What I'm loving to see amongst these elite drivers is, well, whenever I look back at my time trials, I always think, do you know what, that's a man that looks on the absolute edge. But these guys don't necessarily look on the edge. They just look incredibly calm and consistent, and that's an abandoned lap by Varg. But they are so clean, it actually looks like a slow lap, but generally the slower you look, the faster it is, because it just means you are in control of the car. We'll see if Inez is improving in this middle sector. He does seem to be absolutely on it. No, he's abandoned that one, seemingly. See if I can pick out someone. So we've got most drivers in the pits now, so we're just trying to pick out someone who may be still actually looking to improve. We are expecting a flurry towards the end. So we're going to stick on board with JJ Trim, who is the furthest round on track, bar maybe the Haas. But he seems to be a few seconds down. Seemingly must have made a mistake earlier on in the lap. So we are going to go to the Haas driver of FC10, and I believe we had a spinner there for the again, but FC10 has gone into the pits. Oh, and another spinner. I feel like I've got a finger pointer of death. So who can we go to who is actually pushing? And so Swindu's on. So everyone's on an outlap. Ladin is once again slow. I think it was one of the spinners. And Kyle was spinning too. Let's try Shock. Oh, has also abandoned his lap. Maybe he will look to get out very, very quickly, but he's very shy of time. I think he's putting a lot of faith in the Williams pit crew. So I believe Ladin may attempt this lap, but he is quite low on his ERS because, as we found, the ERS on this new game is very slow to charge back up. You really do need the heavy braking zones and quite a fast lap to hit those heavy braking zones to get on the recharge. But we'll see how he does, because I'm very sure he wants out of P14 and somewhere into the top 10, even though the top 10 no longer has any bearing on what tyres you can choose for the start of the race. The tyre allocation has changed a substantial amount, but you can choose whatever tyre you want to start the race on, irrespective of what tyres you used. Obviously, you may not choose to want to start on the tyres you qualified on, as they will be used and worn, maybe a little bit slower, a little bit less life. But tactically, it could be a good way to go. So even with the ERS deficit, Baladin is slightly faster. Now this next section is going to really test his tyres, if he has still any left. Oh, but he has invalidated. So let's go up to Jordan May, who is vying for pole position, but he has just lifted out. So who can we follow? Evil Chris is just coaxing round. So Swindu, I think, is pushing based on his ERS usage. So we'll stick along with him. And we do have just a slow car. Apologies everyone, I got a bit excited. So Swindu is coming around. An actual shift up through that corner. I need to learn from that. You know, the hot lap ERS usage is questionable around this lap, because you'd think it would save a little bit more for the pit straight to power you over the line, but it does seem to use it a lot in the middle sector. as he goes through the final section here. Nice and tidy, maybe a bit deep onto the sausage curb on the exit there, but he does carry a lot of speed, keeps it nice and tight, and moves himself up 2 positions. A lot more drivers in the 117s now. So we do have Robbo, who is still somehow improving. We'll have to check to see if he's reconfigured his track map to find this extra time. And he goes over the line to further it by another 2 and a bit tenths. Incredible. And hopefully for the sake of the racing, maybe his oh, we have a spinner of Pioch there. Oh, well, I was wondering how far he was going to let that go then. So we do have Reese Boy, who was fast earlier on, but I don't think he's put too many laps in since. He's coming around. I don't think Reese Boy is on a lap. He has completely depleted ZRS. And we do have a Haas parked on the track somewhere. Is that Evil Chris? Yeah, he's spun, but done the right thing and stayed off the racing line. It's very hard to turn your car around there, especially with how fast cars are coming through. I can imagine he'll pit this lap now. Oh, Reese Boy, do look out. Please don't be parking over the pit entrance. We've got a few people on slow laps now, I think. Qualifying is coming to an end. We've got Ash here just coming through the final quality. He is 1 and a bit tenths up. This should move him up. And it does. 2 tenths by the line. Moves him up into P6. He must be very happy with that. It puts him in a good position. He would have been worrying for himself there how far he was down. It looks like that is the end of qualifying as it is. So, just as a rundown, we have Robbo, who has absolutely crushed the field so far. That is 7 tenths in qualifying over his competitors. Absolutely incredible. As we go further down, though, it is a bit closer. We've maybe got a few tenths here and there separating the cars. Most people by the end did get themselves into the 117s, which is pretty impressive. That most of those times are faster than my TT time. But it's great that they're all in here together, fighting it out. So we'll go through. So we've got a real mix of teams up in the top. The only people really staking a claim for the constructors in the top are the Ferraris, with drivers in 6th and 8th, hopefully starting one behind the other. They can work something out there. So yeah, we're unsure if that is in fact sandbagging from Lewis de Beeker and Apple Dawn, seeing as they are consistently just outside the top 10. We'll wait and see if there's a turnaround in the race, because if they are sandbagging, they've given themselves a mountain to climb. But yeah, that's an incredible time by Robbo. He was very much talked up in the chat beforehand. But anything can happen in a race. Strategy, safety cars, team tactics. Speed is not everything. Tell me about it, Charlie. Mad speed. So as ever, this league does not run a formation lap, so we will get thrown straight in as soon as the drivers have chosen their setups and starting to race. As we experience F1 2020's most recent glitch, the nighttime daytime flashing. There is a GIF for that I wish I could share with you, but This is the format we're working with. Yep. Anyone, Charlie Harris, absolutely anyone. And like I said, it's still early days in this game. A lot of things we're just doing. I know that a lot of drivers in this league have decided to start straight away onto no traction control. But here we are, 5 lights, and away we go. Thankfully, they're all on top of their wheel spin. A few people moving around at the back. We're going to stay on board with Robbo for the time being as people seem to form into the first corner. Let's have no one go for the extreme inside. We do have the Aston Martins getting pretty close to each other there. We'll go back up to Robbo as he makes a clear lead with his chrome wheels. We do have someone going wide. Is that Pjok? Going quite wide, but regaining it onto track. Let's not have any 2016 Mercedes heroics. Robbo has already pulled out 6 tenths on Jordan, but he is getting back under braking. That may be his advantage. Let's go down the field where we've got some tight battles. We have Lewis De Beeker incredibly close to the Alpine, who just seemed to get on the curb there. Look at the car, there's hardly anything in it. We have Lewis De Beeker going for a move around the outside on the Alpine, but he may get run out of road, and he is at risk of the car behind if he doesn't watch himself. And he just sneaks through, and the Alpine tucks back in. We'll go up to Ethan, who does seem to be quite close. Watching, let's go down to Reese Boy, who is following this Mercedes very, very close. This is going to get tiresome in this race if the camera is going to lag that far behind. In terms of form of racing, this is almost like East. Well, we have an overtake further up. That is the 2 Aston Martins swapping positions. Looks like Swindon has started on the hards. He is really going to struggle in these early stages. But he has started with a good qualifying position. So it's only going to take a few laps. As we found out, so the hard is a very good race tyre. It just lacks that ultimate pace straight out the covers. And he is at serious risk of Lewis De Beeker because he is beginning to lose his teammate Hainsey. Lewis De Beeker has already made some brilliant overtakes. But we'll go on board with Lewis De Beeker as we watch him track him down. Pulls into the slipstream. Is he going to consider anything? We have someone spinning at the back. That'll be Baladin and Perez potentially have made a connection. We'll go back up to Lewis, who's still lining up to Swindu. Hainsey, if he felt like being a team player, could potentially back up as DRS is going to get activated in this next lap. And we have Jordan May. Where's he gone? Catch up with him. And our front row sitter is having to wait for all the cars to go past, but great etiquette. Safety comes first. Good to see. Well done. We'll go back to that Lewis De Beeker battle. He has seemed to have dropped back. Oh no, he has got past the Swindu. My apologies. We had that ultimate pace disadvantage of a commentator's curse as he held it out. It does look like he's kept that car in one piece. Please be careful coming back onto the racing line. So Lewis De Beeker gaining a few positions there, albeit only by making one overtake. But Robbo has just got a huge gap now. This race really is his to lose now. And Hainsey is closing in on Ash here. It's so strange looking at these cars head on with the colours they've chosen. They spend most of the time looking like they haven't got any wing on them. Every single time I see them head on, it makes me think, oh my goodness, someone's running around without front wing, but in fact they are. Do we have battles further down? Let's have a look how Varg is doing, coming up. I really need to watch. I might just not mention people's names because I feel like I've caused an incident there. Be careful, Varg. Yep, he's spun it round, keeping it off the racing line. Well done, thank you. Will we have a safety car? I think based on I've not had a message for a safety up, so we've got double wave yellows, and we do have the safety car coming out of the pits. So let's go on this territory. Yeah, it's giving me a better idea of how fast the drivers are pushing. So I would say, other than maybe some of the soft runners, it probably doesn't make much sense for anybody to come in. The soft runners, however, are towards the back of the pack. So I think between Jordan May and Balladin, it probably makes a lot of sense to come into the pits at this point. But this will not make Robbo very happy. That wonderful gap he'd built up is going to be diminished now. And we're going to toggle down as we go to see which drivers pull into the pits. I imagine Robbo won't. He dummies for it, even though no one was near him. Does not seem like Piotr has. Woroff hasn't. Hainsey's come around. I don't believe many of these top 10 medium runners will. Yeah, it looks like not a full house is staying out. If we have damage on it, in his, let's see if they've got a new wing for him, or is he just trying an alternate strategy? No, just an alternate strategy. Onto the hard tyres. Is he really going to try that to the end of the race? Or is he just potentially seeing that as the superior tyre? Now we do have Varg change his wing. He'll be very thankful for this, I guess, in a way, even though it was his safety car that he caused. Strange enough, Baldwin, those are not new tyres. Potentially from a lap before. So the largest gap at the moment is Innes to catch up to the pack. So let's quickly pull up pit stops. Oh, hang on a second. What is that penalty? So Swindu has picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is very unfortunate considering the caliber of these drivers. He may not get a safety car chance to undo that from himself. He can take it to the end of the race, and potentially, depending on how he does, it may not matter, but it's not nice to have at all. So the bottom 5 drivers have all pitted. Right, so I presume before that they were either on the softs or a harder compound tower, or potentially had some damage. Seeing as we have mostly caught up now, we'll go back up. And we will go back up to Robbo, who's becoming very good friends with that green Aston Martin safety car, which potentially isn't the safety car that you want going around this track, which is very high speed. I think they would have much preferred the Mercedes and its higher top speed. So actually, let's have a little look at some of the position changes that happened in the race. So Robbo has kept his position from the start, dominant in qualifying, dominant in the race so far. We've had Piotr and quite a few of the other top drivers benefit very much from Jordan May's very unfortunate spin early on. So he's moved up. Woroff has made some brilliant overtaking manoeuvres. And it doesn't look like we're going to have a chance of running through everyone, because the safety car is coming in after just 2 laps. So we will head back up to Robbo, who is now in control of the pace. He wants to watch out he doesn't follow that safety car too closely. The game, unbeknown to some people, does have a feature in it which will stall the car if it looks like you're going to overtake the safety car. As he weaves to keep his tyres up, we ask all drivers to maintain good gap, and as in real life, do not pull up alongside other drivers once safety car's been called in this lap. And is he going to go straight for the slingshot, or is he going to drive it more towards the line? I hope we've not had any clips of wings going up. And he has gone, and away we go. He made a good look. We're going to go back to Warruff though, who looks like he's going to have to be fending off from behind. Ethan and Lewis Debika absolutely going at it. Ash needs to watch out that he does not get caught weaving in front of other drivers. He looks like he's really struggling. He's got Lewis Debika all over him. But he manages to position his car. But then again, the top speed is going to go up here. Is good tyres going to play a part here as they come round the bend? Lewis Debika taking the wide line, making it narrow on the inside. But surely Warruff's not going to try and keep it on the outside there. He might even lose the place to Ethan. Maybe not through this section, but there is a straight coming up. Warruff is looking very vulnerable after the safety car restart. He powers down the straight. I mean, there's a lot of slipstream being used. Oh, we're going the wrong way. There's a bit of movement in the background there. So we've got Sir Deadman all over the back of Keops. Taking a slightly wider line out the exit there. We're going to go back up to Ethan though, as he is very close. Kept it nice and level through there. So we're not going to have DRS for another lap yet, but depending on setups, Ethan may still have a better ultimate top speed. He goes to wide. Is he going to make it? And Warruff gives him all the space necessary, but then pulls it back, keeps the power on as he keeps it tight. He may have compromised himself on speed going into turn 4, but where can Ethan go? And Warruff, great defending despite his tyre deficit. It looks like he's finally warmed those up. We'll go a bit further down to Sir Deadman, who's in a bit of a sandwich. He needs to watch out on his throttle and brake application. He's meant to maintain a relatively predictable form of racing as to not catch out close drivers around him. And so Reese Boy is just behind him. What a snake of trains. And that Mercedes in the background looked like it was on absolute rails the way it held on despite the speed it took through there. And Reese Boy is holding a tighter line, but he's going to find himself out on the outside. I will do in just a moment, Aru, but the action is very good around here at the moment. As Ethan may actually have DRS this lap, and he goes, I'm not sure if the detection is there already. We'll keep an eye on his wing. It's not open just yet, but we will get on the back straight. As requested, we'll quickly get some tyre age on. So there we are. I think most people are on, got the 8 lap old mediums. And I think, have we had a collision somewhere in the back? We have a quick tab through. I think Jordan May is potentially, he was gaining positions. It looks like he's dropped back again. We'll go back up to Ethan. So yeah, it looks like Kyle Nichols is he's actually making good use of these softs. I'm not sure where that's going to put him strategy wise, because surely he will have to pit relatively shortly. So I think the closest battle on track at the moment is actually Appledorn going for a move on Reese Boy, or at least staying very close, and Reese Boy is using all of the track to try and maintain speed. Oh, and we have a spinner of Evil Chris. How unfortunate. Hopefully he's kept that out of the wall so we don't need another safety car. Oh, and looks like Reese Boy is really struggling. Also, we have another. Have we got a potential pile-up further down? Kyo's Game is not having a great time. Neither is Evil Chris, who did so well in qualifying. But we'll go back up to this. We'll go to Appledorn has got past Reese Boy. Well done. I think Reese Boy though is struggling a little bit because he does appear to have a little bit of wing damage. Can we get a closer look at that? Yes, he is just missing his left end plate. Looks like Perez is closing very, very much. Oh, it's a three-way battle going through here. And we may want to be cautious that he's going to end up leading a DRS train going out here as there's a bit of touch in the background, but all seems to be okay. We'll go back to Baladin who's watching this. We've got FC10 is right on the back of Kai Nichols, who is making these softs really last, but he's low on ERS. I would not be surprised if he's pitting this lap. As Robbo just keeps punching in the times. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you much airtime, mate. As expected, Kai Nichols does pit this lap, which releases FC10 to slingshot himself up to the back of Reese Boy. He does have DRS. No Max Verstappen-like problems going on here. As do we have a spinner further down? Jordan May is just having an absolutely torrid time. After starting so well in qualifying, he is unfortunately really poor time. And we've got Perez, who's just reserving in this race, I believe. He's not having a great time either. We'll head back up as Waraf is closing in on Lewis the Beaker. From my experience racing with Lewis the Beaker, he will race very, very fair, but he'll make you feel like you've got very, very little room. As Waraf closes, as he goes to the outside, will he have the grip? Lewis has kept it tight. Like I said, he has left him very little room on the outside, but all is fair. As Sir Deadman also joins this fight, he's coming up from the rear. As we see Lewis the Beaker using all the road. As we've got more spinners at the back, these hard tyres, despite having a lasting advantage in terms of grip, are not seeing the drivers well in terms of grip. And now after that very valiant effort by Ash to get past Lewis, he's left himself at risk to Ethan. Oh, this is a brilliant three-way battle for the last of the podium positions. As we have more yellow flags, I think that may be Jordan May again. Stay in it, buddy. As a FC10, as he span, looks like maybe a bit of a moment, but I don't think he's spanned completely. Let's head back up to that battle. Surely Lewis the Beaker is going to be suffering with this. Just punching the air for these two guys with no DRS. I think all drivers have been quite tactical here. They want the main straight. Oh, and actually, no, I tell a lie. Ash has seen an opportunity. He's going around the outside. Is this smart? Going to get this. And Lewis the Beaker has lost both those positions. Potentially he wasn't defending enough going through those sections. And Jordan May has retired, unfortunately, in the pits, though, which is what we asked for in this league. Please don't retire on track. And Lewis the Beaker has tactically gone back for this position. And he's got it. Well done, down the inside. But I can't imagine Hainsey's just going to let him have this. He's coming back again. It just looks like Ethan's just got more tyre life. Down the inside, well held. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it would appear. That Ethan just has more tyre life. Lewis the Beaker has got plenty of skill to defend these positions, but ultimately he's going to continue putting himself in a position to be challenged if he is not doing too great on his tyre wear. Let's head down. Varg is making a move around the outside. Oh, that would have made his cacks a little bit brown. Seeing that little wiggle from JJ Trim on the exit of turn 4. But he has made that move stick. Looks like Sir Deadman is joining this three-way battle for P3 and made it a 4-man fight. We are very much going to keep our eyes on these one, but I'm going to try as I can to keep my eyes on everything else as well. Surely the pit window for these mediums is coming in sooner or not. We have an absolute brilliant stint by Balladin here. This could really work out for him. If he pits onto the hards, he will be a real contender in this race. But only time will tell. But we will go back to this very enthralling fight. Deadman is closing. He has got the gap the same as all the rest of the drivers in this. But it is very, very hard getting through all of these cars. When you're sat at the back of one of these trains, it's just horrible. Everybody's got all the performance that you have. But he is driving well. He is closing the gap. He is on Lewis de Beeker's gearbox, which is the last thing he wants when he's suffering with his tyres. What will the DRS show here? It looks like Worath and Hainsey have pulled away from the back two, but they are still in DRS. So they are in contention despite the gap. I think Lewis de Beeker may need to cut his losses and pit here. Yeah, they have very much dropped off now, as Lewis de Beeker does. And maybe he's listening to me, who knows? As Hainsey has gone, took loads of curb to find the space to get past Ash there. This is a man who thought he'd only be in Champions Division, battling out for the podium in Elite Division, albeit in pre-season testing. Now, where's our the sandbagging pair of Lewis de Beeker and Appledorn? Where's Appledorn? He's up into P6, and Lewis de Beeker is one of the first people to pit off the preferred medium to hard strategy. Let's see how that serves him, because also these tyres do take a while to heat up, so he will be slower on maybe his first or second lap out the pits. Let's see, what other battles do we have? Let's give some attention to JJ Trim, who has, despite being overtaken by Varg, has kept with him. Maybe it's the ultimate pace of those medium tyres. Maybe they're just not done yet. Maybe the hards really aren't the tyres to be on. Maybe they're just something to see the race out with instead of one to battle with. But I think it's been a while before he actually starts challenging there, but we will stay with him until the DRS zone. As Ash does pit. When he shows signs of coming out, we will skip him to see if he comes out ahead of Lewis de Beeker, which is the most intriguing fight at the moment. Yeah, DRS is open, but Varg just does seem to have that straight line speed advantage. Let's go to Ash. Where is Lewis de Beeker? Well, he's come out behind his teammate, but where's Lewis? He is behind. He has performed the overcut. The overcut is significantly more strong in this game than it was the last one. These new tyres, these unheated, larger tyres, as we see there, Ash recognising that, is heating them up, and he potentially will lose a bit of time to Lewis, as he already has. I think he's lost about a second to Lewis on exit here. Maybe he can heat those tyres up in time. He would have gained the position, or failed to lose the position at least. But look how much Lewis is closing up on him. He is right there, and if Ash is not careful, as Robbo sets the fastest lap of the race, I presume just before he goes to the pits, but we're sticking with this. Lewis de Beeker with his warmer tyres going around the outside, but is asking for a lot of room. Goes deep, doesn't keep it too tight, but gives enough space, and is ahead. But now Ash will have DRS, as we have a few more pitting from further field onto the hard tyres, as Ash has lost that position he has. Oh, it's just still have DRS though, as he was over the detection point. Let's find ourselves a battle on track, as this one seems to have just been hindered by the little squirm of power that Ash had coming through the final corner. As Varg is just making these hard tyres work, he's found himself all the way to P5 starting on that hard tyre, despite all the troubles he had at the beginning. And make no mistake, this is a hard track. Mr. Watkins has pointed out there's a great amount to learn from these guys. The fact that they are maintaining on the limit on this track, maintaining all these battles, going for the overtakes at the right time. It's all key. As Robbo, I'm unsure, is potentially trying to work out potentially all the way to a pit a complete pit window ahead of Sir Deadman. He does, I think he's maybe looking to come out no further back than maybe P3 or P4. As the top 2, 3 and 4 all pit. As Sir Swindoo, no, Sir Swindoo has stayed out. So this is the perfect opportunity for Robbo to pit now. The question is, will he? It's very hard to keep track of the realistic battles. Yeah, but look at Varg just going for it. He will be fast at the end of the race when he gets onto their mediums, but it's whether or not he will be hindered when he comes out on those cold medium tyres, which should be fast to heat up. But we have a battle. Sir Deadman on Lewis the Beaker, who seems to once again be struggling for grip. Potentially, he's not liking this setup. As Ash notices the squirm and goes for a dive on the inside and holds it. Well done, Ash. As he wants to rejoin this battle for what is the net P3. But looks like Lewis the Beaker is the closest battle on track to Hainsey at the moment. Even so, they are sort of holding station at the moment. There is a relative gap, not one you can particularly challenge, but one where you can just goes along. And we do have Ash. There's just Span. Oh dear. Needs to watch his speed difference here. He does seem to be back up to speed, so not hindering any drivers behind. But he has unfortunately dropped out of that net P3 battle. And that releases Hainsey to go race after Jock. As we are still waiting for Varg, Sir Swindoo and Robbo to pit for the end of the race. Anyway, Varg has already pitted, but it'd be incredible to think if he could take all of these tyres to the end of the race. Anybody in the chat think that that's Varg's strategy, running these hards all the way to the end of the race? Because he does have drivers around him to battle with, albeit the one behind him at the moment being his teammate. I suspect he will let him through. It seems very futile just to fight him at this point. As we have Appledorn coming up on an Ash who's potentially burnt a lot of the performance out of his tyres. As we look like Evil Chris has had a bit of a spin. And there's a lot of work I think people need to do on the setups. I think some people just haven't tuned into this track. Let's find ourselves a battle with Lewis the Beaker. Once again, is the closest battle on track. Actually, no. So, like, Pjok is about to negotiate the team positionings with the Williams. As Varg does the right thing and lets him through. The question is, will Pjok hand back and let Varg sit in his DRS? I think it wouldn't be a wise decision at this point, considering the tyre difference between them. Let's head down to Appledorn and Ash, who has gone round the outside. Can he hold it? Ash is trying to keep it. And like I said, I think he has burnt a good amount of the performance in those tyres. Oh, as he almost runs into the back of Appledorn there. Oh, as we may have a safety car now. Reese Boy has unfortunately oversteered his way into an early bath. So this should really spice things up. This potentially is dreamland for Varg, who has pushed himself all the way to this point in the race. And we have Robbo, who is yet to pit. Absolute dream for him as well. So I suspect Robbo, Sir Swindoo and Varg all to pit. I think Robbo does have a way to go now, as he was actually beginning to approach some lapping traffic. So as Sir Swindoo, as expected, has pitted and is fortunate for him serving that time penalty. However, onto softs for 12 laps. Well, 10 ultimately, 9 to 10 laps of actual racing. So maybe not the worst idea, but this track, as we found out in this season, is a bit of a tyre killer. So maybe the softs won't last that long. But he hasn't lost too many positions, which is a good thing. So I fully expect Robbo to pit now. Am I right? As he calmly negotiates the last couple of corners and pits. We suspect onto the soft tyres. We'll stay on board with him. Oh, Appledorn just seems to be an absolute magnet for these drive-through penalties. In all the practices, he has built up so many of them. Oh, unfortunately, I mean, maybe, or just maybe, this is part of his sandbagging tactics. We don't know. We'll have to ask him after the race. As Robbo comfortably pits onto softs, coming back out in the lead. However, I'd like him not to overtake Evil Chris again. Let him pass the safety car, which I think he's going to get to do. He is. So we're just going to sit here and wait for the pack to build up behind the Aston Martin safety car. Let's have a look at... Not that. Position changes. And amazingly, despite the torrid time he was having on the first stint with those tyres, Lewis the Beaker has found himself up in P3. Up 9 positions so far, being what would be the seen as the game's drive of the day isn't based on much. I imagine the game would award him driver of the day, considering he has the most positions gained. But unfortunately, yeah, Evil Chris down there at the bottom has had a really unfortunate time. I think that's potentially just a bit of setup familiarity that needs to be worked on. It's one thing being on the limit in TT and maybe ignoring some maybe track limits or spins that you may do in time trial, but when you're applying in the race where your fuel's varying, your tyres are varying, the battles you're having, varying race days, you may be in the clear, you may not be, you may be battling. Sometimes you'll find only after a while the setup doesn't quite support what you want to do. But we will go back to tyres. So we have most drivers just sticking to the 2 stops, which is mark of a good field of races. The more you can stick to a traditional pit stop strategy is usually a good sign of a well conducted race. And in terms of tyres, I mean, with the way it's sat, it looks like Robbo should just pull away from this 6 car pack behind him, all on quite used hard tyres. So, I mean, Swindu could potentially find himself picking up a lot of positions, so depending on how well Robbo pulls away, and the restart I think potentially will be next lap, we could see Swindu really being a force to be reckoned with towards the end of the race. It does look like the Aston Martins will really push up the order as Hainsey sits there on one of the newer fresh sets of hard tyres. SC10 is in for a good shout of some points in this race, once again having fresh soft tyres and nothing but used hard or medium runners in front of him. And then obviously we've got the soft and medium runners at the back of Kyle Nixon, Keox Gamer and Evil Chris, who are on I don't know actually, I don't quite understand why Evil Chris is on a 16 lap mediums unless he's literally run out of tyres. That would be my bet. So we'll go back to stop. So yeah, he has pitted twice, and I potentially think he would have started on those mediums, switched the hards, and pitted back to the mediums. I think the more advisable thing to do would have been to go for some softs, seeing as the most they'd have been used would have been in qualifying, maybe would have been sitting on maybe 5 or 6% wear. But we live and learn. This is only pre-season testing. Not just testing for the league, but testing for the drivers as well, to find out ultimately, because obviously different strategies play into different field battles. Certain strategies will play out better for the leaders, certain strategies will play out better if you're fighting in the mid-pack. And oh yeah, all drivers will gain a position as long as they don't spin in the first lap after the restart, because Appledon will serve that drive-through, I imagine, as soon as is possible. We'll come off that. We'll go on to tyre. We'll keep the time menu up. Good to keep track of that as we go through. Despite Evil Chris being where he is, I do expect safety car to be in this lap, which I believe they get. Yeah, there we go. So that Aston Martin will do its damnedest to scurry away. We're doing a good job at controlling the pack. He's not staying too slow. A few drivers would maybe creep around this, but he does not want to cool down his tyres. He can still see the safety car. He needs to be careful here. He's not left much space. Oh, this could be tight. The safety car is still there. Oh, he has bolted, and what a restart! I think maybe potentially people were looking at the map. As we had Lewis de Beeker making an immediate move on Piot. Brilliant, well done. Goes deep again. Keeps that Red Bull powered Red Bull ahead of the Williams. Oh, something didn't sound too good there. Was that Ash? What's happened to him? He's all in one piece. Let's go back up to the battle. As we said, we'd have a look at Sir Swindu, who just seems to have that pack ahead of him just a little bit too tight, but I suspect he will go for something on the straights and begin to slowly pick them off. Robbo has just launched himself into a 3-second lead after not just over half a lap. 3 seconds, I mean, what a launch. I think again, that the clear advantage of the softs over the used hards. Are we going to have a look by Sir Deadman? Maybe a bit optimistic from that far back, considering he'd have gone straight into a car in front. As we have a slow moving Alpine a bit further down. We've got Appledon, who I would follow, but I think he's going to serve his penalty now. Oh, Sir Deadman, I think is... Who's on the hot? Oh, Sir Swindu. Getting mixed up with the Sirs. How rude of me. He does not seem to be firing those up just yet. I think it will start to show sooner or later. As we've got FC10, as I thought, with these softs making moves. Yeah, just superior tyre usage, but he does have the soft runners have really shot themselves up. Kioskamer, who was, well, what moves has he made? I'm sorry guys, I've missed that. He has really shot up the order. He's actually leapfrogged FC10, which I thought would have been the leader out of those drivers looking to get into the points. That's just Swindu is a little bit too far back. Piot is coming back at Lewis de Beeker. Oh, battles happening everywhere. Evil Chris, who's having a torrid time, has managed to work his way up into 11th. Absolute madness. And who's Span? Oh, JJ Trim. and I think Varg, I think, has had some other problems. And Robbo's straight away setting fastest laps again. Someone needs to contain that man. As we have Perez. Oh, JJ. I'm not sure if you've just spun and maybe got beached. But we do not park ourselves in dangerous positions. The stewards will be asking for the footage of your retirement there. But what a story for Evil Chris after all the torment that he's been through this race, to him himself and the Haas team to find themselves up in the points. Incredible. But Piotr once again is very, very close. I've raced with this before, he does not go down easy. And despite the extra 2 laps on his tyres, he will fight it. And this battle is quite tight with a marginal gap with Sir Deadman. But we'll go down to Evil Chris, who's just tailing his teammate. But seen as FC10 is going to have... Oh, we have a spinner. Chris Gamer has just lit his tyres up, and... Is that a late safety car? We have a late safety car. I wonder if that was on the sausage curbs. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Now, with with everyone being so bunched, I would definitely recommend Ash pits for softs. He has a 10-second gap behind him. The slowest underneath the safety car. He would definitely benefit. So we'll look at that one. Position changes. So Lewis the Beaker currently finding himself in P2 all the way from P12. Some massive, massive movers. Baladin, who started well outside the points, finding himself right in the mix of the points. Some great points for Aston Martin today. I think this might be saving grace for Appledorn after he would have been dropped quite far back. As Hainsey pits. I did not think the lead hard tyre runners would risk track position. But then again, they've clearly seen a lot of moves happening. Now, is that going to catch Lewis the Beaker out? Is there people that are going to pit? Oh, has he served a penalty there as well? Oh, that's on Carl Dixon. Carl Nichols. Sorry, I knew a guy called Carl Dixon. So you know, most of the lead hard runners have not pitted. But now the backfield, all people who could legitimately vie for points, now all on softs. I think it would make a lot of sense for FC10 to also go into softs despite the freshness of those hards. So the rundown now is Robbo, as he has been from start to finish, in P1. Lewis the Beaker making up so many places, both strategically and on track, in P2, but with the oldest tyres on the grid. Piotr racing a similar strategy to Lewis the Beaker, but is negotiating that B2 position with him towards the end. So Deadman in a similar position, he has been in contention for most of the race. So Swindu, as ever, looking dangerous on the softs, however with a lot of life taken out of them at this point, but he doesn't have too far to go. I think we should get maybe 3 laps of racing. Oh, what's happened back there? Perez I'm not sure he's been hit from behind or has hit someone from behind. Unsure whether or not those people are going to get told to give those positions back. I think they have. Yeah, so yeah, he had unghosted by the time they overtook him, so rightfully so, they've given those positions back. Thank you for the sportsmanship, gentlemen. But I need to go through now. Who is missing a front wing? Or at least part of it. Because I definitely saw some shards come off. So not Paladin, not Ash, not Appledawn. Perez definitely got hit. Kyle, is that Hainsey missing a right end plate? It is. No, that's just how dark it is next to his tyre. I'm not making it up, guys, am I? We definitely did see some carbon fibre fly, did we not? No need to speed through, guys. Be patient. You're only racing a road Aston Martin. However, FC10, I'm not sure if he's busy having a chat with him, car to car. He doesn't seem to be pushing along. I know they're good friends, but you have a motor race to take part in, guys. Chat, someone please confirm to me that we did see carbon fibre fly. The safety car in this lap. I presume Robbo is going to ace this. That was very late call. Very, very late. He's going to have to creep this to the line, which is not something he's had to do so far with his safety car restarts, but he has gone. He's very close in the background. And Lewis Topeka is getting a run in the first challenge that Robbo has had all race. I mean, he does have a tyre deficit, but he's going for it anyway. And he is ahead. Incredible scenes, but Robbo is using the tyre advantage to keep it around the outside, squeezed all the way. Lewis Topeka needs to be careful not to expect too much from his tyre, but momentarily there, Robbo, for the one time in the race, was challenged. And Perez, despite the early spin in the safety car, has gone off and is out, but I don't think we'll get another safety car now considering the time left. Lewis Topeka is pushing him all the way. This is like Hamilton and Verstappen in Abu Dhabi reverse. The hard tyre runner is following. Oh, so Swindon with his soft tyres and how close the pack is. He's really going to drop down with that 3-second time penalty. And we have Kyle Nichols extra close on Baladin. Is he going to dive? No, he thinks better of it. He knows he's going to get held up by the Red Bull in front. Is he going to get the switch back? This is a great onboard cam of this. No, he's gone for round the outside. Maybe not advisable. It's not really... Oh, he's thinking about a lot of stuff, but maybe not all advisable. Let's go back to that front battle. No, Robbo has launched it now. He's finally fired up those soft tyres and he's found the advantage that he's had all race. Ash is still in it. He's going to try and use those soft tyres against the hards of Sir Deadman. Helicopter cam, I think, flew into some turbulence there with a bit of a shake. Yeah, I mean, look at the tighter line Ash can hold. This is currently the tightest battle on track. Maybe Varg, who is still balanced side by side. Varg has, Ethan, sorry, has just found the edge there. Comparable soft tyre runners. We've got Ash, I think, he's getting very, very close to Sir Deadman. I don't know where to look. We don't want to look behind, he's chasing the guy in front. Come on, Codemasters, and he's got past him. We've got to see a rear view camera of an overtake. How brilliant. Oh, squeezed! And the Red Bull of Appledawn getting very interested on the inside. Thinks better of it. As we come on to the final lap, a lot is to still be decided. As Robbo just relentlessly pushes another fastest lap. Clearly had a lot of DRS left to use. And we do have DRS for the last lap. Excellent. But not on this straight, I don't believe. Oh, what a camera. What a camera angle that is. Appledorn, I think, is the closest. Well, Piock is, but oh, what has happened? Oh dear. So Swindle, I hope that wasn't a deliberate retirement. We'll get back. We know we're not going to have a safety car, so let's get back to the battle. So Piock is very, very close. We don't want the rear cameras. We want to see if Piock is going to finally take... Oh no, and Lewis the Beaker has spun! How unfortunate! And Ash, after everything, has found himself on the podium. But we'll go on with Robbo, who takes the pre-season test win. Piock second, Ash third, Sir Deadman fourth, Appledorn and Lewis de Beeker. I mean, potentially the ultimate sandbag. Lewis de Beeker costing himself second place to end up seventh, but I'll let him tell you that if that's the case. And wow, what a race! What a race! Oh, I think we're in for a season-long treat with all these elite drivers. Absolutely brilliant racing throughout. There's still a few teething issues with people getting used to the game, but I don't think we can complain. Despite all of that, the drivers went out there, they gave their absolute everything, despite it not counting towards the championship. I imagine a few things may find themselves into the incident reports for the stewards to review, but I saw nothing at all malicious. I think the stewards may look to inquire about some of the retirements, but I think that's about everything. Now, I can't tell if this is daytime, nighttime, or the paparazzi have just found some extra powerful flashes to apply at nighttime. But that is it for this evening. Congratulations to the podium sitters and everyone who took part. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Hope you did too. Hope everyone watching did. And we will just get the final positions up, so the stewards have got something to refer to. So there we go. Robbo, Piock, Warath, Sir Deadman, Appledorn, Baladin, Lewis de Beeker, Kyle Nichols, Varg, Hainsey, FC10, Evil Chris, Sir Swindu, and Perez does get classified, but he did DNF. It's just how many laps he had left. Those are the finishers and the drivers who valiantly took part, but ultimately fell foul to a wall or an incident. With a quick flick down the incidents, a few 5-second time penalties, warning of track limits, but ultimately well kept between the lines. Very impressive. So you weren't sandbagging then, Lewis. But no, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope to see you throughout the season, where I'm not the lead comms, but I am hopefully dropping in for some co-commentator spots. It's been very enjoyable. Hopefully we'll see you again another time. Bye.